My child, stop and listen to my words. This is not just a passing or ordinary message. Heaven tried to read your heart, but your heart was too heavy to hear my voice. You must have felt something moving within your soul, something different from usual. It was not your imagination, it was me. I sent two spirits from heaven to guide you, protect you, and warn you. But you were too distracted, too busy, too hurt, and too exhausted to notice. Now I am speaking to you clearly. Do not ignore these words. Do not simply pass by this message. Your future, your peace, and your next step depend on what I am about to say. I have sent a helping hand from heaven. But you must listen not just with your ears, but with your spirit. You are not alone in this hardship you are facing. Even when it feels like everyone has left you, and the silence around you feels so loud, I have been by your side. When no one understood your pain, I walked with you. I saw you crying alone when no one was watching. I heard every prayer in your heart, even the ones you did not speak aloud, and I did not ignore them. I moved and I acted. I sent two spirits from heaven. One was to give you wisdom, and the other was to cover you with my protection. But you did not recognize them. You must have felt those moments in your heart telling you not to go there. Moments when everything inside you screamed not to speak or not to trust that person. But you did not know it was my voice speaking through the spirit of wisdom. You thought it was just your own thoughts, but it was a holy warning from heaven. It was my voice. There were days when you felt a sudden peace even while crying. There were nights when you should have completely broken down, yet somehow you found the strength to stand up again. That was not your own strength. It was my spirit of protection guarding you. I wrapped you in my shield. When the enemy planned to destroy you, I sent my presence to defend you. There were spiritual battles you did not see, and many traps you did not walk into. It was not because you were lucky, but because I blocked them. It was because I sent help, and because I am your father. But now I must speak to you directly. Why are you ignoring my warnings? Why do you keep doubting, when I have shown you repeatedly what is real and what is fake? Why are you still wasting your time and energy on things I have already told you to leave? Why do you stay beside people who exhaust you, even when you know they were not sent by me? I have shown you the truth. I revealed their hidden, true hearts. Because you asked for an answer, I gave it to you, but you close your eyes once again. Why is that, my child? I am not angry with you. I love you so deeply. But because what comes next requires your full attention, I am warning you once more. You must not miss another warning. The enemy is watching you. He is looking for a way to pull you back into the pit I rescued you from. He wants to wear you out, hoping you will eventually get tired and give up. But what the enemy failed to calculate is the powerful shield I have placed around you. The spirits I sent are still here, but they need your consent. They need your obedience. You cannot say you trust me while continuing to ignore my voice. You cannot pray for the right path while walking wherever you please. My child, your mission is too precious to be handled lightly. I have already started moving everything. I am precisely aligning people, places, and times just for you. I am placing the answers in the right spots. But you must be in the right position to receive them. Declare that you rest in the promises of the Lord. If you are holding on to my word, stop moving out of fear. Stop making hasty decisions because of loneliness. Stop returning to that place of past hurt just because it is familiar. I am calling you to a higher and greater place. To go where I lead, you must let go of things that are no longer part of your story, you cried out, asking why you feel stuck in one place. But I tell you, it is because you have continued to ignore my gentle voice. I soothed you to stay still, but you ran as if escaping. I told you to wait, but you hurried. I warned you countless times through dreams, through waiting, through discomfort, but you did not think it was me. You saw it as disappointment or total rejection, but it was my protection to guard your calling toward me. There were blessings I withheld not to punish you, but to save you. There were relationships I ended because I knew they would eventually destroy you. There were closed doors you wept in front of, but because I knew what lurked beyond those doors, I could smile with relief as I watched you. And now I am opening completely new doors. But you must be able to recognize them. You must listen to me when I say go, and when I say wait. The spirit of wisdom is still by your side. Listen carefully. You will begin to feel that small voice again. When you feel an intuition that something is wrong in a conversation, in a thought, or in small things, that is my spirit telling you to pay attention. When you feel a deep peace that makes no sense in your situation, that is my spirit saying, "It is I, never ignore it." The protection is still with you. Sudden delays, canceled plans, and last-minute changes are not always attacks from the enemy. Sometimes it is my hand pulling you away from a destruction that would have shattered your soul. You see only a small part of the story, but I see the beginning and the end. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I see what you cannot see. My child, trust me again. The enemy has constantly tried to shake you. He whispered lies into your ears without rest. He tried to make you feel forgotten. He tried to convince you that nothing would ever change. But he is a liar. You are chosen. You have never been defeated. The very fact that you are still standing, breathing, and fighting is proof of my wonderful power working in your life. The enemy tried to destroy you completely, but I kept you firm. And now I tell you clearly, in the coming days, I will show you definite proof. I will send a personal sign that only you can recognize. You will know instantly that it is me. You will feel my peace deeply and hear my voice clearly. But when I speak, do not delay. Obey immediately. The answers you have been seeking are coming. The change you wanted so badly is already moving. I am releasing the peace you hungered for into your life at this very moment. But my command remains the same. Stay close to me. Do not run ahead of me. Do not be swept away by people's words, fear, or the pressure of time into places I never sent you. My beloved child, I love you deeply. I have waited very patiently, but now it is time for you to rise up with strength. You must not stay in fear forever. You must not be trapped in the past. Your calling is far greater than the pain you have suffered. What I have prepared for you is so brilliant and valuable, it will more than compensate for every tear you have shed. Every delay had a reason. Every closed door had a holy purpose. The many nights you spent in tears alone will soon be perfectly understood. Do not lightly ignore this warning. Do not drown out my voice with vain distractions. I am speaking to you clearly now. The spirits I sent are watching over you, protecting and guiding you thoroughly. Remain constantly in a place of prayer. Keep your position firm. Your spiritual breakthrough is not far. It is much closer than you think. Now take a deep breath and listen to my words again. I am with you, I am for you, and I go before you. No matter what the enemy has done, he will never stop the wonderful things I will do in your life. You have carried so much for so long, not just the burdens of life, but endless questions, deep sadness, and the long silence of heaven. You must have wondered if I still speak to you, if I still lead you, or if I am still working in your life. And now I tell you the truth. I have never stopped for even a single second. When all your strength was gone and you fell, it was I who carried you. When fearful thoughts rushed in like a storm, it was I who covered and protected your heart. Even when you did not know what terrible things were coming, I was the one who set an invisible, unbreakable barrier between you and danger. You may have forgotten those moments of crisis, but I have forgotten none. Even in those moments when you thought I was silent, I was recording and remembering every situation where I intervened in your life. You have never walked this rough path alone. Others may not have seen your pain, but I was watching you. My eyes of love have never, not for a single second, turned away from you. Do you remember something whispering deep in your soul to keep going on those days when you wanted to give up everything that was not just something unknown? It was the Spirit I sent to give you the strength to stand again. That voice that instantly cut through the destructive thoughts spiraling out of control. That was my wisdom whispering that this is absolutely not the end. That feeling that strongly told you not to trust that person's voice or to turn away from that fatal decision. That was my mercy perfectly guarding you from the trap set craftily before you. You asked with tears, "Lord, why is my life so heavy and harsh?" I answer you, it is because you walked with your own strength instead of leaning entirely on me. You were carrying heavy burdens that you were never allowed to carry alone. I never once asked you to solve all those complex problems by yourself. I only told you to take my hand and follow me. But you too often followed the fear within you. You followed people of the world who do not know me, and you followed emotions that change like waves every hour. I know well that your intentions were not bad. You just wanted to feel something familiar and safe. But now I am completely changing the direction of your steps. I am realigning your journey. The warnings I kept giving you were not to scare you. They were to save you. They were messages of my deep mercy. The two spirits I sent were there not only to block danger, but to prepare the glorious path promised to you. When you ignored those uncomfortable feelings as just a mood, you missed the first gentle whisper. When you forced my spirit to be silent with the noise of the world, you missed the second whisper. But I never stopped speaking to you. I sent this message now to reach you once more. This is not a coincidence. This is not just a video that appeared by an algorithm. This is my holy intervention turning the compass of your life. Because something unimaginably greater is near. I am trying to get your attention with all my might. The new thing to come will be completely different from anything you have known. You can never cross into this new chapter with the same mindset as before. You can never bring old rotten habits into this new territory. Above all, you must not be spiritually asleep. There is a spiritual reason why everything around you has felt strange and uncomfortable lately. I am calling you to a much higher place. The discomfort you feel when you are near certain people is not you judging them hastily. It is the spiritual discernment I have given you. Suddenly being thrown off the path you thought you wanted is not chaos in your life. It is my compelling hand resetting your direction toward the right destination. I am guiding your steps meticulously so that you do not walk in vain into a place where my name was never written. The delay you are suffering through now is never my rejection. It is my most perfect timing. If I had given you what you cried for before you were ready, it would not have been a blessing but a terrible stone that would crush and destroy you. So, for your safety and your future, I held it back for a moment. Now I am working fiercely behind the scenes. I am not only changing situations and environments for you, but I am shaping you into the person who can handle the wonderful things I have planned. So, my dear child, you must stay completely awake, watch and observe. Perk up your ears to my voice. The enemy is still whispering in your ear, still watching you, and still struggling to pull you back into the past. His plans are not creative at all. They are just boringly repetitive. He tries to pull you away from my destination, using the same temptations, the same tricks, the same people who broke you, and the same destructive cycles. But the difference now is that you clearly know the truth. You have heard my true voice before. You felt my warm guidance deeply, and in the depths of your soul, you already feel with your whole body what I am telling you now. Do not make cowardly excuses anymore about the things I strongly commanded you to leave long ago. Do not foolishly justify staying in a place where my peace has already left without a trace. Stop the vain act of planting precious seeds over and over in soil that is completely contaminated. I have a new and vast land for you. I have perfectly prepared new and glorious places where you will bloom dazzlingly. But you must first take your feet boldly out of those past places where I never told you to go. The two spirits assigned to you are still standing firmly by your side. Wisdom will help you discern what is holy from me and what is a trick. She will speak meticulously in the stillness and come to you through quiet thoughts or a sudden jolt in your soul. Do not dismiss it lightly. Listen. Protection will surround you like a solid shield on all sides. She will stand firmly between you and the fiery arrows shot by the enemy. You may not see with your own eyes how fiercely the spiritual war raged around you, but remember this one thing: you were perfectly protected. That accident that almost happened, that plan that suddenly went wrong, that door that slammed shut just before you entered, that was my shield saving you, and that was my strong hand. You cried out to heaven, God, do you even care about me? I look into your eyes now and tell you, when no one in the world cared about you, I looked after you tenderly. When you were completely forgotten, I took care of you. When others saw only your fine outward appearance and knew nothing of the bloody battle within you, I watched over you and hugged you as you bled. I care for you and love you enough to deliver this message directly to you at this very moment. You asked me repeatedly when this terrible situation would finally change. I answer that it is when you finally listen completely to my words, even if it feels strange and scary, when you finally begin to trust what I show you. When you willingly begin to obey before you understand and calculate everything with your head, right then, every situation will be overturned. Doors that no being in the world can block or close will swing wide open at that moment. You must deeply realize that your next step is very holy. You are no longer one wandering lost, but one being led by the King. Now every day of your life is so important. Every single decision has meaning. You are entering a holy season where spiritual alignment with me is far more important than the opportunities the world gives. Just because something looks glossy and good on the outside does not mean it is a blessing from me. I will give you a calm peace, not a pressured feeling of being chased. I will give you an unshakable conviction, not confusion. I will lead you gently and warmly without forcing it. That is the spiritual way to discern my will. But I will also test your voluntary will. I will allow seasons of quiet silence to see if you still seek me when nothing is visible. I will allow prayers to go unanswered for a while to make your heart anchor back to me from the world. It is never to destroy you, but to build your inner self as hard and deep as a diamond. The path set before you is very heavy and glorious, and you can only handle it if you are deeply rooted in the rock beyond just emotional excitement. So now I ask you, will you trust me again? Not with lip service, but will you give me a wholehearted yes of obedience through your actions? Will you stop long enough from the speed of the world to hear my voice clearly? Instead of following your emotions that change all the time, will you surrender your initiative so that the heavenly spirits I sent can lead you completely? This is not just a matter of breaking through a situation. This is about the great process of becoming your true self, whom I created from the beginning. Now I declare, in the coming days, I will begin to show you everything as clear as crystal. I will clearly reveal who the real people are who truly support you. I will relentlessly remove the things sent by the enemy to distract you and take your energy. I will instantly clear the thick fog that covered your thoughts and heart. I will breathe a new and powerful conviction into your soul, and you will realize with a start that it was indeed me. Do not delay. This time, never ignore my signal. Boldly let go of the trash that screams for your attention, but gives no spiritual nourishment to your holy mission. I have prepared much more for you than you can imagine. Greater and more brilliant things are waiting for you. Your name will be called gloriously in new and high places you have not even stepped on yet. Your total obedience will be the key to that iron gate. You have walked with heavy steps, carrying many doubts and questions. You came carrying a heart full of complex thoughts you could not share with anyone. It was not because you did not want to speak, but because I did not know what words to use to explain that heavy emotion your soul felt. This is not just surface sadness. It is something much more painful and deep. It is the weight of deep disappointment you could not utter, and the stinging pain of expectations shattered against the wall of reality. It is the silent, lonely frustration of struggling to be strong on the outside, while feeling like you are collapsing on the inside where no one sees your effort. I see every bit of it without exception. I see that secluded place where you swallowed your tears alone to keep from breaking down. I saw those moments of hollow emptiness you felt so bitterly when you were left alone, even though you tried to laugh brightly in front of others. I saw your heart fighting to stay sane and not lose focus, when everything around you was collapsing and shaking unstable. I saw your kind heart trying to warmly encourage others around you, even while secretly despairing if your own recovery would ever come. Engrave this one thing deeply in your soul. You never missed your time. You are not lagging behind others. You have never been forgotten in heaven. This time you are going through, as if walking through fire, is not a punishment from me. It is a process of thorough preparation for a great calling. I allowed this time of stretching as if you might tear, to make you strong enough to fully handle the enormous thing I promised to give you when I finally place it in your hand. You have prayed with tears for change. You begged me to change the course of your life, open blocked doors, and pour out answers from heaven. And I heard every single word. But before moving the environment seen on the outside, I am working on the inside. I am building something very firm and solid deep in your soul that is rooted deeply and will not be shaken by any storm. In the very place of glory where I will take you high, you can never survive with a shallow faith that shakes easily. You cannot withstand that pressure with shallow choices made by being swept away by emotions. You must be built unshakably on the unchanging truth, on the absolute rock that is I. That is why you felt that pressure, as if your soul would burst. That is why the things that used to give you so much comfort no longer give you any satisfaction. I am completely changing your spiritual taste. I am plowing up the spiritual environment around you. I am relentlessly separating you from things that can never go with you into the glory of the next season. It is not to make you suffer, but to truly make you grow. Growth does not always happen noisily with a fanfare. Sometimes it feels like a suffocating silence, and sometimes it feels like a bone-cutting separation. But that lonely time that feels like total isolation is actually the most holy time, when I meet you alone and teach you. You are not falling behind. You are being called to the very front row. I am forcibly pulling you out of the crazy noise of the world, so that you can finally hear my gentle voice clearly. Do not doubt any longer the enormous potential I have planted in you. Stop doubting for the second and third time the holy anointing I have poured on your head. Do not shrink back and diminish yourself any longer in front of low-level people who cannot possibly understand your great calling. I did not create you to live blended in by dulling your colors in the world. There is a clear heavenly purpose, and I have thoroughly separated you and set you apart. You are not an ordinary person who must fit in with every crowd. You were not created to stay beside selfish people who love you only when it suits their interests. I am calling you by strongly awakening the lion's boldness, heavenly power, and burning mission sleeping within you. Yes, you went through a harsh test. Yes, everything felt uncertain like a fog, but I have never for a single second left you like an orphan. All of this is just part of the process of shaking to align the compass. It is my work to shake everything that is not founded on me, so that only the real things that can never be shaken remain in your life. I know your heart that was torn because you had to let go with bloody tears. I know your stinging pain of having to inevitably turn away from people you love deeply. I know how miserable and difficult it was to silently watch others. But you were never stopping and rotting in one place. I was letting you drop your anchor firmly in the deepest place, so that you would not be swept away even in a storm. I was hiding you under my wings. I was protecting you thoroughly so that you would not be hurt by being prematurely revealed to the world before God's perfect time came. Because this work I am shaping in you right now is so holy and sacred, before revealing you brilliantly before the bright light of the world. I was raising you greatly in the most secret and private place. I was tempering your soul like pure gold in a furnace, so that when I finally lift you high, no power in the world can pull you down again. I was implanting in you a solid peace. I was forging wisdom that never shakes, even against the poison arrows of countless people's opinions. I was planting in you a discernment clear as ice that is never confused even in the crazy noise of the world. That is why I keep calling you to deeper waters, not shallow ones. Stop being satisfied right now with shallow prayers that only wet your ankles. End the miserable spiritual survival of barely scraping together today with yesterday's thin faith. Awaken again the fierce spiritual hunger at the bottom of your soul. Come back to that place of first love where you listened most first and most earnestly to my voice over any other person's voice. Come back to that quiet and holy inner room where only you and I had deep fellowship. I have never once left that place. I have been waiting for you there all along. The enemy tried to deceive you into believing I had gone far away from you. He tried to make you firmly believe you were a trivial being abandoned by God. But he is a vicious liar from the beginning to the end. Every time you felt my painful silence, I was working most busily. Every time you felt ignored and trampled by the world, I was preparing your glorious name to be called by the nations. Every moment of tears you despaired over as wasted. I was writing line by line as the story of your great victory. I am perfectly restoring your stolen time. I am giving you back several times over what you lost unfairly. From all those evil things the enemy threw to destroy you completely, I am instead bringing out the most dazzling and wonderful purpose. Now, catch your breath and listen completely to my words. I am not just working at the level of answering the prayer requests you submitted. I am doing a work much bigger and greater than the universe, far beyond what you could dare to imagine and expect. I am transforming those wounds that almost tore you to pieces into the most solid foundation for blessing. I am making that area of shame where you were most terribly rejected by people into a prince who receives the greatest grace and favor of God. I am turning that terrible season that tried to shatter you into a powerful springboard that will instead make you soar the highest. But this great work requires your full and thorough consent. You can no longer walk with one foot in the world and 1 foot with me. You must never be tied to the old trash heap of the past while saying my Lord with your lips. I want 100% of you. It is not because I want to control you frustratingly, but because I want to give you something 1,000 times, 10,000 times better. Now lay down that arrogant greed to control and understand everything with your head. Please lay down that suffocating pressure of trying to fix with your own strength the things that only I, the Almighty, can change. Completely let go of that fear, whispering like a snake in your ear, asking what if it does not happen the way I want. I hold the results, I hold the most perfect time. I alone hold the name tag that will be proudly called in the many rooms of glory, whose doorknobs you have not even touched yet. The reason you were finally able to walk out of that terrible darkness was because I was your light. The two heavenly spirits I sent, wisdom and protection, are walking with you even at this moment, matching your pace. They are whispering to your soul even right now. Listen to the stillness within. Concentrate all your nerves on that gentle nudge. I speak in ways you do not expect at all. That delayed time that does not go your way could be my voice telling you to stop. That door that closed coldly could be my shield saving you. A sudden change in emotion happening in your heart could be my hand, firmly turning your direction away from the edge of a cliff. You do not need to piece together and figure out all the puzzle pieces at all.